Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I actually went and got my tree for Yule, which I'll show you guys later. It's so adorable and I'm so impatient and I can't wait. I just want to decorate my altar now and I want to decorate everything right now. So my altar is already decorated for Yule, mind you. And my upstairs altar in my bedroom is also decorated for Yule. And then I have a third altar. Yes, I'm crazy like that. So I have a third altar, and it's actually the one right on the side of my bed. But that's basically my sleep altar. So it's kind of a different type of altar, but I'll have to show you guys when it's finished because it's a little messy right now. So anyways, what I wanted to talk to you guys today was spiritual awakening. Um, Going through a spiritual journey and what it's been like for me, because I figured maybe if it comes from someone who's going through it right now in this moment, I'm actually going through the process rather than listening to someone who's already been through it. I think that I would even prefer watching videos and listening to people talk to me about spiritual awakening that were going through the process because it's a little bit more understandable. So that's what we're going to talk about today is spiritual journeys and spiritual awakening. So when I first started this journey, it was, I want to say it was over 10 years ago that I started this journey, and then I stopped many times in between those 10 years. I would stop the journey, I would get off the journey, get back on it a little bit. So I guess I'll start with why I stopped the journey. I can't say for sure why I stopped every single time that I've started, but I think now the reason why the journey didn't continue is because I wasn't ready for the journey at the time. I don't know if it was because my mind wasn't mentally mature enough to deal with what the journey has to bring you, or maybe things in my life at the time. I don't know what it is, but I just think the time wasn't right for me. It just wasn't my time to stop my journey, and so I stopped all those times. But the very last time I was on this journey, I was actually doing really well. I was doing my journaling every day. I would put positive videos on in the morning when I was getting ready. My life pretty much circled around it. I was taking classes when I could in my spare time, law of attraction, manifestation, crystal classes, just anything that I could keep myself completely involved. Because it's definitely a hard process. It's not easy, and not everyone's going to understand you. So I'd say probably when I was fighting, I used to be a mixed martial arts fighter. Believe it or not, yes, I did. And I retired about 7 years ago now. And when I decided towards the end of my career, when I wasn't sure if I was going to keep fighting or not, I had a really bad knee injury. So it took me out of the game for quite a while. And at the same time that I had this knee injury, when I was training, I was actually training for a fight when I got the knee injury, but it had been a pre-existing condition that had been coming and going all the time. So it wasn't really a surprise that I got the knee injury again. So the problem is I got it right before I had my first title fight. And so that was the first thing that was really hard on me. And then my father passed away. So, and the thing with my dad was that I didn't know my dad. I was adopted. So um, I came in contact with some of my biological family when I was about 14 years old, but that's a story for a whole nother day. I had never met my dad. I'll just put it that way. And my dad had a problem with alcoholism almost over half of his life, and so he got very ill. And when I met my dad, he actually was in recovery. He was trying to clean up so that he could have a relationship with me. What I didn't know at the time was that my dad was dying, but he didn't want anyone in the family to tell me that. He just wanted us to enjoy our time that we had together, and we did, and I'm very grateful that I got to have that time with my father at all. But it was like under 2 years that I even had my dad in my life. But I mean, I'm grateful that I had 10 seconds with my dad, and instead of not having any time with my dad at all and just never knowing him. But it was just, it was too much. And I fell apart. And that was the time in my life where, I guess to best describe it, is I felt like there was, I was just in this darkness, and I couldn't see light no matter how hard I tried. There was no light. I couldn't see light. And I don't even think if someone showed me the light, like the light's right here, just look at it, I wouldn't see it, because I was in such a bad time of my life. And you know how it goes. It's just like one thing after another after another. And I had so much hate in me. I had so much anger in me that I was like, it was like spirituality, like F spirituality, that it doesn't work. And I'm not reading my books anymore. I mean, I flipped out. I went crazy. It was a really, really bad time in my life about 7 years ago. Really, one of the worst chapters of my life when I first ended that spiritual awakening journey. So I'd never really started it up again after that happened. Here and there, I would read books. I would try to get into it. I would go to the spirituality stores, pick out stones. I would kind of get there, but I would never really get there. And this year, for some reason, it was just like, come on, girl, it is your time. Get back in there. And it just kind of happened. I don't want to say I didn't like go look for it, but I kind of feel like I didn't really look for it. I feel like it just like came to me, if that makes any sense. And this is what I'm saying when I talk about spiritual awakening and spiritual journeys. Like, people think you're crazy. Like, what is she talking about? Like, so my husband and I were into the paranormal. Well, I've always been into the paranormal and kind of brought my husband. I drag him along, the poor guy, for everything. So we like to visit a lot of haunted inns, do a lot of traveling towards that. I've been heavy into paranormal for many, many, many years. So that's what kind of started this spiritual journey, believe it or not. We were doing tons of like Halloween stuff, and I don't know what it was. We came back from our trip, and we were in New York, actually. We stayed in one of the most haunted hotels in New York, and we did like haunted stuff and paranormal stuff all weekend. And I came home and I just started clicking on videos and watching law of attraction videos. And I honestly, I have no idea how it went from like ghosts and spirits and like creepy baby dolls on YouTube to like spiritual awakening. And this is why I say, and call me crazy, but it was like I was being guided to every video that I watched. I feel like in this moment, I'm guided to what I watch on television. I'm guided to pretty much everything I do. The books that I pick up, the stones that I pick up when I'm in a spirituality store or whatever it is. It's really odd, like I said to you. And I know it sounds odd. Like, listening to myself back, I'm like, it sounds crazy. And I think that's why so many people that are going through spiritual awakenings think they're going crazy. I mean, if you Google it, sometimes they'll say, is this insanity? Or is it a spiritual awakening? Like, which one is it? I know that sometimes I talk to my husband about this stuff, and I can see his facial reactions. And I'm like, I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy. And he's like, I'm sorry, no, I'm not. I love you. And I mean, he supports me tenfold, like above and beyond. My entire family does. But it does sound crazy. So if you're going through a spiritual awakening, if you're on a spiritual journey, maybe one, you think, no one understands me. This sounds crazy. Like, what am I listening to? Like, sometimes I'm just like, what? I feel displaced most of the time. I wake up sometimes depressed. I feel sad for no reason at all. I just am like, what are you doing? I haven't been to the gym in 2 months. 2 months. And that might sound like, so I have worked out half of my life at least 3 times a week, at least. And that's like just cutting it down because of my lifestyle. I've competed in fitness competitions. I was a mixed martial arts fighter. I was in the gym 6 times a week. When I was fighting, I was in the gym 7 times a week. Sometimes I was in there twice a day. So I think that when you go through a spiritual awakening, also, no matter what, everything changes. Everything changes. And that's the biggest thing that you're going to start to notice. So if you're going through a spiritual awakening, I can tell you this. If you feel like you don't know who the hell you are anymore, what you're talking about, like nobody understands you, where am I? What day is it? Where am I going? And why am I sad? You are probably experiencing a spiritual awakening. So the other night, I was just so sad for no reason. My son had come over with his girlfriend and he came to bring me a birthday present, which it is so beautiful. The birthday present was so beautiful. And like I told you, my family supports me like so much. He built me this beautiful, beautiful present. It's like a box where you can put crystals in. It has all little rocks. And there's a statue with lights. I mean, it's so gorgeous. And the gift was so, so thoughtful. In fact, my oldest son gave me my birthday. My birthday was just on Friday, December 6th, baby. Fire. And him and his girlfriend also bought me like a charm necklace and a little bracelet with the third eye and aromatherapy candles. And it's like, I think it's awesome because none of my family sits and says I'm crazy. They've known me like this for as long as they've been kids, obviously. So my family's super supportive. And I totally forgot my point because I started talking about my kids. But this is I got my point. So my son left after giving me the gift, and I felt like breaking down and crying. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, seriously, like, sometimes I get so aggravated with myself because I'm like, why are you even upset? Like, I don't even know why I'm upset. And so I put on YouTube and I typed in spiritual awakening, and this lady came on. And God, what is her name? I have to try to figure out what her name is. I know I wrote it down somewhere because what a beautiful soul this lady was. And I'm going to try to look for it because I remember journaling her name into my notebook when I saw her YouTube because the lady just spoke to me. You know, when you have questions and all of a sudden it's like, poof, there's the answer to like exactly what you were asking. So I turned on her YouTube video and she was explaining what spiritual awakening was. And I was like, I mean, like 5 minutes into her speaking, and I was like, oh my God, yes, that's me, thank you. And then even better is when you read through the comments, like you scroll down and you read through the comments, and there were so many people sitting there like, yes, that's me. I don't feel so crazy now. I don't feel so alone. So yes, you're going to feel like you are losing your shit when you're going through a spiritual awakening. And if you go through a spiritual awakening and you don't feel crazy at all, then I don't know, but like honestly, I think that everybody that goes through this goes through a lot. They go through a lot of changes, they go through a lot of self-doubt, they go through a lot of like, what am I doing? And they go through a lot of depression and sadness. And I was thinking like spiritual awakening, and I watch positive videos and manifestation, and why am I so sad? Like I'm not reading these books and taking this journey to be sad, but it is actually part of the journey. And she explains in it that this is kind of like the in-between of spiritual awakening, and you're going to get there. You're going to pull through. You got to keep going. But I think the fact that so many people, they come off these journeys, this is why. Because it's not easy and you have to do the work. Like there's so much deep work when it comes to spirituality and having a spiritual awakening, becoming a more positive person. You have to like dig really, really deep into yourself. And that's a hard thing to do because when you start really looking at yourself, it's not easy. I mean, really looking at yourself like, okay, it's not everybody else's fault. Maybe this was my fault. Maybe I am doing this wrong. Maybe I'm the bad one. Like, you have to look at yourself because it's not just everybody else. It's you. It's you. So it's like, that part was hard. And when you write things, sometimes it's hard to even write them down to get it out. The letting go process of spiritual awakening is huge. If you guys looked, the last video I did, actually, we were writing on bay leaves, things that we would like to let go of. So if you want to look at that video, I think it's a really great video for people who are starting this journey, an idea to do. You know, you take a bay leaf and you write down maybe who it is or what it is that you need to let go of, and then you burn it. And for me, it really helps me release. So it's something that I like to do, and it's something that you can do too, because spiritual awakening, you'll figure out if you haven't started a journey and you even are interested in starting, a huge part of the process is being able to let go. You have to let go of the things that do not serve your life anymore. And I'm seeing that, and it's not easy. So it's people in your life. I've deleted people. I've deleted people off my Instagram, um, because they don't serve me. We don't speak. We're not friends. If I think that you feel a certain way about me, or if I'm feeling negative vibes off a person, I don't want to engage with you. I don't want to have anything to do with that person. At this point in my life, I'm 43 now. I want good things in my life. Um, I want positivity in my life, and I want everything that's surrounding my life to be positive and something that I want. I want to be around like-minded people. And that's another hard part of this journey. When you're going through a spiritual awakening, trust me, it's super, super hard to just talk to people about this stuff. Like, oh, hey, yeah. So, like, okay, example. Let's go to coffee with my friend Jess, for example, right? Jess is not on a spiritual awakening path, but I am, right? So we're having coffee, and I'm like, yeah, dude. So last night I was hearing like buzzing in my ear. It was like so loud. I dropped my phone, like the buzzing, and then there's static. I'm always hearing static all the time, and then the voices, like when they're talking to me, like all the time. They tell me what to do. They tell me what to watch on TV. They tell me sometimes not what to eat, and then there's Jess. Huh? Like what? Okay. So do you understand what I'm saying? It's very, very hard. I mean, sometimes the words that are coming out of my mouth when I'm trying to explain things that happened to me to my husband, like I see his face and I'm like, it's like, oh, of course it's frustrating because it's like you want people to understand you and get you. And it's like him and I are such good friends, and we're like lovers and best friends. And so I talk to him about everything. And when I talk to him about something that he can't really reciprocate because he doesn't understand it, it's super tough. So I have to say the one thing is I felt like super alone. I definitely feel super, super alone. But again, watching this lady's video and hearing her talk about like keep going, just keep going. Like this is the hardest part right now, what I'm talking about. The part where you think you're going stir-fried crazy, and it's because everything is coming together. It's happening. I had a touch on my head. See? Are you sitting there thinking I'm crazy? You might be, right? Or maybe you're not because you're going through a spiritual awakening and you're like, yes, yes, girl. So I was laying in bed and I felt a hand on my head. Now, let me tell you, I hear things like constantly and it's normal. But I'm getting to the point that the fear is residing because it can be a little scary. Like, okay, like who's touching you on the head, right? So I don't even know. Was it my spirit guide? Was it one of my angels? I don't know, because these are all things that I've been calling into my life and like begging for. But then in the beginning of my journey, when I would hear these things or during meditation or even astral projection, which is a new thing for me, for the last couple of months, I've been going into astral projection, which we can talk about a little bit later on in a different video. But yes, during meditation, the colors that I see are beautiful. Sometimes I close my eyes and I can just, it's amazing. It's the most amazing feeling, and the things that you see, I don't know. It's very hard to explain to someone who doesn't understand the process. So I'm hoping there's someone watching this video right now and they're like, yes, 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 I'm going through this right now, and that's why this video is for you, because I'm in the journey too. I've been in this journey so many times, so it's not anything new to me. It's just stronger and more vibrant. I've never ever been on a spiritual journey. I've never just tried starting a spiritual journey and come this far so quickly. So it's actually super amazing, and I welcome you guys to Google it, research it. If you don't know what a spiritual awakening is, research it, look into it, start watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. It is, like I said, it's not something that everybody will do because it takes a lot of work from in here. So it's not just, read a book, listen to videos. It's a lot of things. It's everything, you know? So, but that's exactly what I need and I want in my life right now is complete and utter change. So basically, yeah, that's it that I have to tell you guys so far. But yes, it's exciting. And everything for me right now is happening so fast. So fast. But I think it's because not only that, okay, she's ready now. So we're going to go like full speed and like with information, because my head is like constantly with information. Like, I'm always journaling. I have journals in every one of my rooms, so the minute I have a thought, I write it down. Or when I wake up in the morning, I think of whatever I dreamt about or the messages that I got throughout the night, and then I write them down. The voices just weird, telling me things. I even had a voice give me a name for a brand new company that I wanted to start, which is actually like a jewelry line. And this is a jewelry line kind of that my husband actually does it with me, and we've been messing around with it for a long time, probably like 7 years. And all of a sudden I got the idea, like, that's what you got to do. That's one of the other things you got to do, you know? And then the same thing that I've gotten on every time I've been on my spiritual journey is write your books. And I'm a writer. I've been writing since grade 1. I've written 3 books and done nothing with them. They're just sitting there. They're journals. I've burned some of my books on a spiritual journey. Okay? That's how serious it is. And because, like, you know, you feel like you're losing your mind. And I told you it was that bad time in my life, and I burned the journal, the books, basically. One of my full books. So it's a crazy thing. But if you can survive it this long, and I'm not saying like you guys are like, I don't even want to go on a spiritual journey, it sounds crazy. It's not that. It's just that everything that happens into you, the force, the universe, the energy around you is so strong when it's working, and it's absolutely a beautiful thing. And it's not like I'm sad every single day, I promise you. It's just weird. It's once in a while I just don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what is going on? And it's just part of the process. So I'm gonna do another video for you guys, maybe like in a few weeks or so, and let you know how my progress is going. But if you guys had any questions, you can leave them in the comments. If you are on a spiritual journey, and you would like to know anything that maybe I didn't say in this video, if you have any questions, just leave them for me down below. If you are on a journey, let me know. I'd love to know, like, what are your experiences? Are you hearing sounds? Are you hearing noises? What kind of books are you reading? I can do that for you too. I can give you guys a list of great books that you can start reading if you're on your journey. So I wish you guys the best. And if you are on a spiritual journey, namaste. And I hope that your journey is amazing and beautiful, like mine is. I've never been more happy in my life. Literally every aspect of my life. I've never been so happy in my life as I am right now. So I can take the tears here and there. I can totally take the tears here and there, because I know at the end this is going to be so worth it. Namaste.